Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third annual Trew Awards presented by the Alberta Lieutenant Governor Circle on Mental Health and Addiction. I'm Jennifer Martin, and I'm honored to serve as a member of the Circle Board of Directors, and it is also my pleasure to act as your MC today. I'm presently with Shaw Television as Manager of Community Programming for Shaw's Northwest region of the country, and we're very proud to be able to bring this presentation to our viewers throughout Alberta as an important public service. Would you please rise now for the entrance of His Honour Colonel Retired, the Honourable Donald S. Ethel, Lieutenant Governor of Alberta and founding patron of the Circle, and Her Honour, Linda Ethel. Please be seated. Welcome, Your Honours, and also welcome to a special guest joining us today, the Honourable Stephen Mandel, Alberta's Minister of Health. To begin our program, I'll invite the Chair of the Board of Directors, Mr. Saul Rollinger, to tell you a little bit more about the Circle.
Good afternoon, everyone. Your Honour, Lieutenant General Donald S. Ethel, Your Honour, Mrs. Ethel, Minister of Health, Stephen Mandel. It's a pleasure to say that. It'd be even more of a pleasure when I can say NMLA, Stephen Mandel. Honoured award recipients, distinguished guests, mental health leaders, advocates, ladies and gentlemen, the Lieutenant Governor's Circle on Mental Health and Addiction addresses the public awareness and the public stigma that is at the very root of bringing this very public issue, and by that I mean 20% of all people directly are affected by mental health and addiction matters, and the remaining 80% are also by virtue of the relationships that they have. All of us are related or affected by mental health and addiction issues. Our mandate is to bring this very public matter out of the closet where it has remained for too long as a private matter. In fact, there are billions of dollars lost every year in lost work benefits, hospital and doctors' fees, homelessness costs, and unfulfilled employment. As former U.S. President Bill Clinton said so well, mental health illness is nothing to be ashamed of, but stigma and bias shame us all. His Honour, Colonel Retired the Honourable Donald S. Ethel, has recognized this, and as a person directly affected, created the Circle to speak to these issues pointedly and very publicly, in the same manner that has brought gay rights, First Nations rights, and other societal rights to the public conscience, so as to begin the recognition that mental health and addiction issues are everyone's problems, not just the sufferer's problems, and not just government's problems, they're our problems. To do this requires the concentrated effort of a committed board of directors to continue with the momentum established in just less than 3 years since the inception of the Circle. I'd like to recognize our board, and they are Jennifer Martin, Scott McKean, Alice Moore, Gordon Mowat, Faye Orr, Michael Petrus, Janet Resta, Tom Shand, Michael Trew, Jeff Sitch, and Angus Watt. Continue the Circle's work is continuing the government's strategy of creating connections, Alberta's Addiction and Mental Health Strategy and Action Plan 211 to 216. The Circle does this by increasing public awareness and understanding of addiction, mental health problems, and mental illness, thereby reducing the stigmatization and barriers to access as announced in the government's plan, What We Need to Achieve. To date, the Circle has partnered with over 10 public and private organizations, worked with over 12 institutions, addressed over 4,000 attendees at 22 days worth of events involving 14 different programs. The Circle has brought to Alberta such luminaries as Sir Albert Ainsley Green, Dr. Barbara Rothbaum, Dr. Gabor Mate, Dr. Connie Lila, Dr. Candace Monson, retired Senator Romeo Dallaire on 2 different occasions, and Joseph Skarjewski just this year, who's the program director of the Betty Ford Clinic in Palm Springs. It's a clear indication of the value and the respect that the Circle has garnered in these just 2 years' worth of experience. The remarkable accomplishments is the result of 4 key factors: the support and name of Lieutenant Governor Ethel, the skill sets presented by the Board of Directors, the presence of a dedicated Executive Director, and the committed funding that has allowed and empowered the Circle's work to be done. Today we come together to welcome, recognize, and honor 5 Trew Award recipients to whom you will be presented with shortly. Our congratulations to them and to all of this year's nominees. You are all winners for what you've done, for what you do, and by the very nature of who you are, what you will continue to do to address the very significant issues of mental health, addiction, and the stigma that surrounds both. I wish them, I wish you, I wish us all good health, good mental health, and a good future as we continue to enhance the Alberta advantage. Thank you.
Thank you, Saul. It's now my pleasure to invite Minister Stephen Mandel to bring greetings from the province.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's a true pleasure to be here today. Your Honors, this is the first time I think I've been with you in this new... No, it wasn't. You swore me in, so this is the second time that I've been with you in your presence. But Linda, this is the first time with you, so it is a well, memories sometimes go after 2 weeks of being the minister, you know. Can I tell you? Anyway, Your Honor, members, Lieutenant Governor's Circle of Mental Health and Addiction, and distinguished guests, it's a tremendous honor to join you here today for the celebration and recipients of the 2014 Trew Awards. On behalf of Premier Prentice and myself, I want to thank all of you for what you've done. In his mandate letter to me, mental health and addictions is the top of the heap. And so we hope to, over the next number of months, to work with as many people as possible to focus on these issues and try to work with all of you to create a better Alberta for so many people. Today we recognize people and organizations whose commitment, passion, and ingenuity providing addictions and mental health services have improved the lives of Albertans. This year's honorees personify the true grit of turning personal challenge into a positive force for others, the true compassion of dedicating more than 20 years of life to working with at-risk youth, the true leadership of providing programs that strengthen the mental health of children and families, true service of volunteers who step in to support co-workers after critical incidents, true imagination of providing innovative online resources to help university students stay healthy. These outstanding individuals and organizations exemplify the positive work related to addictions and mental illness that is taking place across our great province. They inspire us to see the impact individuals and organizations can have in promoting good mental health and addressing addictions in our communities. We'll have an opportunity to learn more about each of these stories during today's program. Through his candor, courage, and commitment to mental health, his honored Lieutenant Governor has also inspired us. We thank him for his patronage and outstanding leadership he has shown on addictions and mental health issues in this province and for taking such a strong stand in this issue. We cannot thank you enough. Your leadership means so much to so many people. We may not always recognize it. We all have a role to play in supporting mental health and well-being in our communities. Through friendship and community involvement, we create social connections that are a significant factor in maintaining people's mental well-being. As citizens, we translate our concerns about mental health and addictions to raising awareness and building a more compassionate province. We help our friends and families and neighbors see that mental illness and addictions are not choices of weaknesses, but illnesses. As co-workers, we contribute to work environments that are supportive and accepting of people with mental health or substance abuse problems. Like his Honor Lieutenant Governor and today's Trew Award recipients, we can lead through hard work and sheer force of example. If we continue to do these things, we will achieve greater acceptance and understanding, reduce the stigma related to mental illness and addictions. By shining a spotlight on outstanding contributions to our community by Albertans, the Trew Awards are part of a raising public awareness, which is absolutely vitally important for all of us to ensure that public awareness is of paramount importance. They provide a platform on which to inspire and encourage more Albertans to appreciate the impact they can have in supporting healthy communities. Congratulations to our honorees, and thank you for your contributions to our communities. Your true dedication and the power of your example is something we should all admire so very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Mandel. It's now time to meet our award recipients, and there are 5 Trew Awards being presented today. They represent best practices and innovative mental health and addictions work that is taking place right across our province. Each of our recipients today will be receiving a personalized scroll along with special Trew Award pins that we hope that they will wear often and with pride. Our first presentation is the True Grit Award, and I'd like to invite our 2013 True Grit recipient, Elizabeth Anderson, to introduce this year's honoree.
Good afternoon. The True Grit Award is presented to an individual with lived experience who's inspired others to get help or has dedicated themselves to furthering mental health and addictions programs. Kai Corvella has done both. Kai's achievements are numerous. He's received degrees in fine art, history, and education from the University of Calgary. Also, he's been the executive director of OBAD, the Organization for Bipolar Affective Disorder, since 2003. He's taken this organization from a small support group to a thriving nonprofit, offering advocacy, resources, and peer support. It's a great achievement to be recovering from a mental illness, but Kai is extraordinary because he has reached back to help all those who's come after him. Kai is well known for his efforts to improve the mental health system. He's sat on numerous boards and committees. Kai has worked with stakeholders and supporters to make OBAD an integral part of the mental health community in this province, throughout Canada, and abroad. Kai has a strong reputation as a respected leader in bipolar disorder, peer support, and mental health education and awareness. Kai is an inspiration to all who meet him. He's a true leader who has true grit. Please join me in watching Kai's tribute video.
When I first discovered I had mental illness, I always knew that there was something that was happening. I was quite successful in a sense, and then I became very depressed, and it was due to losses in my life, and then it just really came to the point that I actually had a mood disorder or a mental illness. And I came across a group, a support group to go to, and I became a part of that process where eventually I became a facilitator. And through that process of working with other people who had mood disorders, I became better, and the management of my illness became a part of my life. So my background has always been in fine arts. I mean, I was an art history major. In terms of my own management of my illness and taking care of myself, there's a variety of ways to do it. One of it's in my work as a painter, and through that process of painting is that I find that I will do corrections and minor corrections here and there that is really reflective of my own life. The process is the most important part of recovery, processes of management of illness. When we first started with our support groups, we decided that we were going to write a book that would help families and people with mental illnesses. So the Guide to Recovery was that book that would help people. But also, our emphasis was also to take that book so that people could go to their families and help them understand the journey that they were going through and what was happening with them. Because everyone has a peer, everyone has a family, and those are the people we go to first. To win the True Grit Award has been an amazing process, and it's, for me, it's reflective of a community and my work through the years in helping people with mood disorders. That's probably the biggest part of my recovery, is to help people and help them to manage their own illnesses.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating Kai as he comes forward to accept his award.
I want to thank you. I want to thank your honors for your kind words, and to the circle, and to the community that's here in this room, who are working hard to bring mental health to the forefront. And I'm very honored. And I actually watched that film, and I went, "That's me actually talking like that," and I actually sounded coherent, which was. It kind of threw me off. So it's either I knew something or the editors were really good. So yeah, it's been a journey for me from being very mentally ill and then coming through support groups and organizations and working with some really fine people in the community. And it's been a remarkable journey. So thank you.
I think it was easy for the editors to make you sound coherent. I've asked the same sometimes, and they say I'm an editor, not a magician, so well done. The next presenter is Circle board member and Edmonton City Councillor Scott McKean, who will introduce the True Compassion Award.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. It is such a privilege to be here as a city councillor, as a director on the Circle, and as someone with considerable lived experience with mental illness. So, as I said, it's such a privilege. It's such a privilege to stand here, up here in front of new minister, Stephen Mandel. I can tell you that what he just said to this room is true. I watched him for 7 years when I was with the Edmonton Journal covering City Hall, and Steve Mandel was a councillor and then the mayor, and I never saw anyone with more compassion and passion to help those who are underprivileged, those with challenges, and I have no doubt that he will follow through as best he can in this new ministry. So that's a real thrill to see you, Stephen. And Your Honors, I understand you swore in the new minister, and when Steve Mandel was mayor and I was a columnist, we swore at each other in a lot too. So it's my pleasure to be up here to give the True Compassion Award, which is given to an individual or organization that has provided extraordinary guidance in affecting the improvements of mental health and addiction programs or treatments. We are thrilled to present this award to an extraordinary man who has dedicated his career to working with youth who are facing extra barriers in their lives. This year's recipient is Dr. Joe Cloutier. Dr. Cloutier is the co-founder and executive director of Inner City High School in Edmonton, which serves high-risk urban youth. The school works to break the cycle of poverty, desperation, and substance abuse that affects these students. He established the program in 1986, and please join me in watching this tribute to Dr. Cloutier.
We've been working for many years, much more than I would like to think, with what is now termed high-risk youth. And high-risk youth are youth who are mainly on the street, have problems with addictions, have problems with basic supports. Anger issues, depression, and suicide are quite active in the population. How we got to the Boyle Street Community League was that they donated some space, and we operated in there for 17 years. And then the Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation came along and wanted to build us a school. And then eventually they bought this building and renovated this building. And they spent close to $6 million renovating the building. We just work with our heads down and our nose to the grindstone sort of thing. And I mean, the joys are when people come back and they're maybe holding their baby and they say they've got family and they're looking after their child and they're working. And these are the things that make the whole job worthwhile, I think. When you grow up in a culture such as this, when you have no models in your life, no supports, not even a bus ticket to get to school, and you end up going to university, which many people have coming from here, and that's a significant achievement. And it's a recognition of what the young people have done. That's how I see the award. They're intelligent, they're capable, and they don't need to become dependents on our social system. They can be contributors, and seeing that happen is quite something.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Cloutier, please come on.
I received clear instructions of what to do when I got up here, and you can see that I listened well. Right? Thank you very much, Your Honors, and thank you, distinguished guests and everyone here. I certainly appreciate the award, but the award really goes to all of the people that work with us. There's over 20, I think we have 25 staff now who are committed to working with the population and go way beyond their duty to do what they can. So I accept this in their name because nothing would happen without them. And I appreciate the contribution of the Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation as well, and Honorable Mandel. Stephen Mandel has been in our old school and played basketball with some of the youth, and he's been a supporter for some time as well. So I'd like to thank you all very much.
Congratulations. I'd like to invite Dr. Michael Trew now, Circle Board Member and Chief Addictions and Mental Health Officer for the Province of Alberta, to present the next award.
Your Honor, Minister, and guests. The Trew Leadership Award is presented to a non-governmental or non-profit organization, business, or private enterprise for providing exceptional leadership in improving mental health and addictions programs or treatments in Alberta. So I'd just like you to imagine for a moment that you woke up some morning at about 3 o'clock in the morning and let your mind go, and you started to think, well, what would happen if somebody really wanted to make a difference with the way we deal with children and and how we understand that in our province and how we talk about that? And while we're at it, why don't we talk about addictions and early childhood experiences and trauma? I wonder what that would be like. And imagine for a moment that they decided that we'll put together sort of experts from across the world, and we'll bring them here, and we'll let them talk to our people, and not just at the university level, but we'll get them to talk to people from schools, and get them to talk to frontline clinicians, and my goodness, we might even actually get them to talk to some of the people who make policy and funding decisions in government as well. And then maybe they'd think about deciding about the cost of things more in terms of opportunities lost, opportunities for individuals, for families, for communities, and not about the cost in dollars that it makes to make that happen. And if at 3 o'clock in the morning you really let your mind run a bit, you might come kind of close to what the Norlien Foundation has been doing over the last number of years in Alberta. They've done really amazing work through their Alberta Family Wellness Initiative. And if, by the way, if anybody in this room hasn't looked at their website, I'd invite you to look at just a real treasure trove of information, and not to mention the core story of child development, which is truly wonderful. They've done so much. They've brought so many people together, and they truly have not asked about what this is going to cost in terms of dollars. So let's, you've heard me say it, but let's watch our tribute to the Norlien Foundation.
The foundation is focused on engaging with and collaborating with all who have a stake in trying to achieve better health and wellness outcomes for children and families in our province. The Norlien Foundation, through the Alberta Family Wellness Initiative, strives to support our colleagues in the health system, the human serving system, the justice system, the education system, in communities, in schools and beyond, with a focus on intervening very early in life, in the very early years, when we can make a difference for children by building healthy brain architecture through very positive serve and return interactions with the adults who care for them. Through the Alberta Family Wellness Initiative, as I mentioned, we have a number of ways that we engage and collaborate with hundreds of Albertans. We commend Lieutenant Governor Ethel on focusing through the Lieutenant Governor's Circle on mental health and addiction. By raising the profile of mental health and addiction, we can build understanding about these issues and also collectively prevent stigma and strengthen mental health and understanding of mental health and addiction in our society. This award means a great deal to us at the Norlien Foundation. It's a fantastic acknowledgement that we are indeed making an impact in our community in Alberta and potentially beyond to ultimately improve the health and wellness outcomes for all children in our province, and in particular how to strengthen mental health and prevent addiction.
The award is being accepted by Dr. Michelle Gagnon, Vice President of the Norlien Foundation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Trew. Your Honours and the board of the Lieutenant Governor's Circle on Mental Health and Addiction, Minister and distinguished guests, I am extremely honoured and pleased to accept this award on behalf of Nancy Mannix, the Chair of the Norlien Foundation, the Norlien Foundation Board of Directors, and the Alberta Family Wellness Initiative Advisory Council, as well as all members of the Norlien Foundation's stellar team of staff, led by our President Paula Tyler, including my colleagues Marissa Admansky, Director of Communications, and Nicole Sharon, Scientific Director, who are here today. I would sincerely like to thank His Honour and the LG Circle Board, as well as those who nominated us for this award, an award that is extremely meaningful to us. It is a demonstration of our impact and leadership in the province, but it is not ultimately about us. It is about all of you, about all Albertans who strive to improve the health and wellness of all children and families in our province, leaders who are working steadfastly to build awareness and understanding about mental health and addiction, to reduce stigma, to improve services for individuals, families, communities, and populations, and also to ultimately promote and strengthen positive mental health and prevent addiction. As a foundation, we strive to support you and facilitate your objectives. The Norlien Foundation, through the Alberta Family and Wellness Initiative, collaborates and engages with government, academia, the community, the private sector, across the health system, human services, justice and education, all aspects of society that have a stake in the health and wellness of children and families. This initiative is about Alberta and about the people, the change leaders from the front lines to the policy levels who have been coming along with us on our journey and indeed creating it with us. This award is as much an acknowledgement of those leaders as it is of us. We thank them from the bottom of our hearts for working with us, and we look forward to continuing to work together to ensure that all children in our province have the best possible brain development and mental health early in life and throughout life, and that all parents and caregivers are knowledgeable, nurtured, and supported to provide it. Thank you for the acknowledgement of the importance of this collective goal and the leadership required to realize it. Thank you very much.
Next, we'd like to present the Trew Service Award, which will be introduced by the Vice Chair of the Board of Directors of the Circle, Jeff Sitch.
The Trew Service Award is given to a public body that has shown itself to be of excellent service to the improvement in mental health and addiction reduction. This year, we're delighted to recognize the Environment and Sustainable Resource Development Critical Incident Peer Support Program, which is the only program of its kind in the Alberta Public Service. It includes approximately 40 volunteers from across the ministry. The team members have received training in the process of emotional diffusing in order to support coworkers who have experienced traumatic events on the job. The program is run through the ministry's human resource area, and team members are available to support coworkers throughout the province. Let's take a look at the program's tribute video.
We all say that, if only I'd done this, or if only I've done that.
This is an example of a critical incident peer support program diffusion meeting, counseling those who have experienced unexpected trauma in the workplace, death, violence, human disaster.
And you will see those images, like you'll never forget them.
Alberta Environment and Sustainable Resource Development volunteers were recognized for this work with the Lieutenant Governor's Trew Award for work in counseling those who have experienced traumatic incidents.
So we had worked with two psychologists who are renowned in their field for dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder. They work a lot with the RCMP and the City Police, and they helped us to develop this program.
You know, the whole thing was chaotic, and and very upsetting.
Some of those incidences that may occur is something like a bear attack or a helicopter crash, just due to the nature of the work that our employees are involved in.
Rory Thompson is among provincial employees voluntarily trained to counsel traumatized employees.
It's a critical situation, and we provide peer support for people that are having some trouble dealing with the issue. You know, some people will cry, some people are angry, some people just clam right up, all the way from having flashbacks of still seeing that scene that they maybe had seen out there. And so our job is to come in and talk to these people.
Our staff are heavily involved in the wildfire suppression within our province, as well as a lot of the flood mitigation that goes on. So just like we had those big floods back in June the previous years down in southern Alberta, those are some examples of some of the work that our employees are heavily involved in.
And so you just keep asking questions, and then you give them some tools to take with them to help alleviate some of the symptoms that they're feeling.
So it's this volunteer peer counseling that has led to the Trew Awards, the Lieutenant Governor's Circle on Mental Health and Addictions Award.
Recognize Albertans, whether it's individuals or groups, who've really made a contribution to Alberta in terms of the awareness around mental wellness.
Selected and qualified volunteers making a difference.
Quite a few, like about 30 or so of us that are trained each year. We go and keep getting retrained and try to get better at what we do. Tell us what happened out there.
The award will be accepted for the team by Representative Mike Boyle.
I just want to take a quick moment to thank, on behalf of the team, the great honor of this award. It's kind of a humbling experience for an HR guy to be in this audience and to be with this truly meaningful event, the celebration. It's quite interesting how we became aware of this. I was sitting at work and I received a phone call from His Honor. I thought it was a bunch of my friends playing the prank, and I kind of checked the number. I ran to my team and became very aware that it was a very real and very meaningful event. This started out of a kind of a crisis situation whereby we determined that we had to do something for our staff. And as a result, the staff got together and they determined the outcome. They worked with the community, they worked with professionals, and they developed this team. I'm very fortunate to represent this team right now. They're sitting over there. I'd like to point them out. I wanted them to wave, but they wouldn't do it for me. So. But I truly want to talk about the people, the passion, the pride, and the place. And they make our job a lot easier. They're public servants. They're volunteering for this. And it's a very meaningful, very exhausting time. They don't think twice about that. It's the commitment and the sense of community that creates this culture. And it truly is an honor to be here and represent these good people. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. It's pretty remarkable when you think that perhaps, Your Honor, when you started your career, there wasn't enough help for people in the military, and now we have workers with the Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources, Sustainable Resources, having that sort of support. It's incredible. And have you ever been hung up on yet?
No.
That's good.
Somebody asked me to spell my name.
The True Imagination Award is up next, and presenting today is Erin Raynor, who is a friend of the Circle and a member of this year's True Awards Selection Committee.
Thank you, Jennifer. Truthfully, I feel a little underqualified to be up here, but I figure everybody needs good friends. The True Imagination Award is given to an individual or group that has developed an imaginative way to reduce stigma, promote understanding, deliver treatment, or implement projects and programs. The Canadian Institute of Natural and Integrative Medicine is focused on developing and delivering resiliency-building programs that build skills and competencies so that people can better manage life's challenges. This unwavering commitment has culminated in the creation of Breathing Room, an online mental health resource now available at Mount Royal University in Calgary. Breathing Room offers an innovative mental health resource that is evidence-based, accessible, relatable, and affordable. The goal of the 8-module online program is to help students maintain their mental health and to detect warning signs when they are struggling. I'd like to invite you all to watch the video tribute to this initiative.
One of the things we always wanted to do at CINEM was to look at complex issues, depression, mental health, suffering. There's so many issues around them. If you have cancer, you suffer. If you have any physical health, suffering and mental health is affected. And what we wanted to do was more than just research that goes on shelves and become academic papers and presented at academic conferences. We wanted to make a commitment that the type of work that we do and the products that we would create can go to the person on the street in a simplified way. The program was developed from an adult program that we had done previously, and we found that the results were so impressive that we thought we would do it for teenagers and young adults. Well, we learned that we really don't know how teenagers and young adults think, so we had to redevelop the program. We had teachers, we had spiritual directions, we had psychologists, we had social workers, parents give us feedback on the program, but the ultimate process and production depended on it being okayed by the group who were going to use it. And we also looked at how to present it in a way. They didn't like the term spiritual, so we had to change terms like that to things that they would accept. To win the True Imagination Award, the very words are what we honestly believe we look at. The second thing is it gives us that impetus to move forward. There are other areas of mental health that we need to look at. One of them described it: before I really suffered and it was out of my control. I still suffer, but I am in control.
The True Imagination Award will be accepted by Dr. Ricky.
Honorable Ethel, Madam Minister, and honorable guests, I thank you for this honor on behalf of CINEM, but I think it's fair to say that also on behalf of Mount Royal University, with whom we worked on this project from the very beginning. And so I feel quite comfortable in saying thank you for them as well. In mid-1990s, a group of philanthropists in the US hired the McKinsey Group to look at centers across North America, the top 6 centers that they felt would change mental health in the future. And we were quite surprised to discover that we were one of those 6 centers, the only Canadian center. And it was truly fantastic to get this award because they captioned us by 3 things: not a lot of financial support, true passion, and true imagination. So this award closes the circle for us today. And on behalf of Mount Royal University, that is represented here, all our staff at CINIM, but I also want to thank Mr. Phil Swift because we've had passion, and that passion still exists. He was the mentor to create this institute, and to carry that passion across, he has even flown in today to be with us. I also want to thank two of the young people who participated in the program and will be future leaders in our country. And I want to thank the province of Alberta for all the support, the people in the province, and we hope that we continue to make this province proud of what we do and all the other true imaginative works that we will continue to do. Thank you.
It is now my great pleasure to introduce the Circle's founding patron and our host this afternoon. Lieutenant Governor Ethel is just stay seated for a moment because we'd like to brag about you for a second. Lieutenant Governor Ethel is an accomplished man who boasts a long and decorated military career. He's also a very compassionate, impassioned man who has dedicated himself to promoting awareness and reducing stigma surrounding mental health. Through his willingness to talk openly and honestly about his own experiences with post-traumatic stress disorder, and I can tell you for firsthand, he is truly open even when he's talking to what is a complete stranger, and also has a way of welcoming complete strangers and making them feel comfortable to tell him what is on their mind as well. And it's probably pretty remarkable when you think of the countless Albertans and others throughout the country that he has encouraged on their own journey to wellness. His willingness to talk openly and honestly and encourage all Albertans to talk about mental illness and seek supports and information without shame is undoubtedly one of his most valuable gifts to our province. Ladies and gentlemen, His Honor Colonel Retired, the Honorable Donald S. Ethel.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Jennifer Martin, and good afternoon. Honorable Mandel, Minister Mandel. God, I got to get out of that habit of calling him His Worship. Distinguished guests, Trew Award recipients, friends of the Lieutenant Governor's Circle on Mental Health and Addiction. Her Honor and I are pleased to welcome you to Government House today for a celebration of some truly great Albertans. Anyone who works in the area of mental health and addiction knows that it's a complex field, and it can take time to change old stigmas and challenge the status quo. Although the task is a big one, the recipients of this year's Trew Awards have found innovative, meaningful, and compassionate responses to the challenges of mental illness and addiction. They've delivered much needed help and meaningful recovery for individuals and families who suffer. They've played a role in changing countless lives of and for the better. And they've made lasting contributions to the quality of life enjoyed by their fellow Albertans. As Her Majesty's the Queen's representative, it's my sincere pleasure to thank and congratulate Kai Corvella, Dr. Joe Cloutier, the Norlien Foundation, and the Critical Incident Peer Support Program from ESRD, and the Canadian Institute of Natural and Integrative Medicine. I thank you for sharing your grit, compassion, leadership, service, and imagination with your community and province. You are an inspiration to us all. For your ongoing efforts, we will continue to move towards the goal of a society where no one is alone in their pain, where people living with mental illness and addictions can feel free to ask for assistance, and where helping and compassionate hands reach out whenever and wherever they are needed. Finally, I'd like to offer sincere thanks to all the members of our Circle board members, supporters, and volunteers for your excellent, outstanding work to date. The Circle has traveled a remarkable distance in a relatively short time, and it's thanks to your collective efforts and your great dedication to service. Thank you all. God bless, God save the Queen, and enjoy this celebration. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our ceremony. Thank you for joining us today, particularly those who've traveled from far distances in our province. We also thank you for everything you do to serve your fellow Albertans and keep the conversation going about mental health and addiction. On behalf of their honors, I invite you to proceed to a reception on the second floor, and I will ask you now to please stand for the exit of the Vice-Regal Party.